You
Yeah,
know,
I
actually,
agree.
to make a point about trading, the deadline's coming up on next Tuesday, I believe, November 3rd.
Uh,
And what's going on with David Njoku? Is he like, I know he there was a report that came out that said he wanted to be traded, but are the Browns thinking about
he
trading him? Is that going to happen?
I don't know. I don't know, man. The Browns and the media do not get along with each other. So there's that.
Yeah.
Especially all the players think the media is out to get them automatically. So they're not gonna. So you're not gonna get a straight answer. The Joker didn't play like he wanted to get traded yesterday. So there's that.
Yeah. Well,
Austin
maybe
Hooper is
maybe
hurt.
he did though. Maybe he played like, he wanted to get traded and put some film out there.
If I would put my money on it, I don't think the Joker's getting traded.
Okay.
Um,
Well, I think that's
unfortunately,
for me that's a little unfortunate because I think
because
the
Bengals.
Bengals. Well, okay. The Bengals tight like I said, Drew Sample had a good game and he's starting to kind of get things going. So maybe
Uh,
we don't need tight end as badly as we did a couple of weeks ago. But also, Drew Sample's the only good tight end we have. I think if we could. If the Bengals could somehow work out a trade for Njoku, and then you got like a Sample and Joku kind of thing going on, like tandem going on there.
mhm.
That would really help out Joe Burrow, and we got some pieces that the Browns could potentially use. Can like John Ross, that's he'll be the first one
Yeah,
to mention real quick.
yeah,
I know he hasn't
obviously.
been great in Cincinnati, but can you imagine what Baker Mayfield could do if the Browns could get John Ross to perform? Now
Yeah,
that
his playing
sucks
style
to
goes
think as
well
a
with him.
Bengals fan, but that's a potential thing that I think could be enticing in a trade offer.
Don't hang your head. Another thing is the Browns defense. We do need a lot of help on that defense. Kyle talked about trading Njoku. Now the Browns do end up trading Njoku. I hope they go out and get a defensive piece before they grab a receiver, which we'll get to Odell in a second. But I do hope they go out and get a defensive piece. I think that our defense is number one priority. You still have a lot of firepower on that offense, even without Odell. I obviously can't replace Odell Beckham, but um, you still have a lot of offensive firepower.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking for a trade for David Njoku, it's going to be for something to shore up that back end of that defense because outside of Miles Garrett, Ogunjobi, and Denzel Ward, that Browns defense is not looking good. It's a very I called it an opportune defense last week where they get opportunities and they get timely stops. But even still, like they wasn't getting those stops at all yesterday. So I know Joe Barrow looked good, but I think that it's very important for us to recognize the Browns if they do make a trade with Njoku, it's important for them to trade for a player that can help us on defense.
Well, you know what? I think actually, I mentioned Ross earlier.
Yeah,
I don't think that would be a terrible thing because I think especially with OBJ out, I think Baker could potentially help revive Ross's career, and maybe that would be a reason why the Bengals don't want to do it because they don't
yeah,
want Ross to come back and bite them two times a year.
yeah.
Um,
I can see
but
that.
then again, if we get a solid tight end out of it that we really haven't had with CJ Uzama going out,
It'll be kind of
that
like an
might be
even
worth it.
swap.
But then there's also Carlos Dunlap. I could see the Browns
Exactly.
I could see
I
the
was thinking the
Browns
same thing.
being interested in Carlos Dunlap because that's a disgruntled Bengals player who's going to look to play hard against the Bengals.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a reason we're not going to trade him to the Browns. Um, Dunlap is primarily an defensive end. He's a hand down defensive end, so that's not necessarily a guy who's going to do a whole lot in the back on the back end. But we've been using him as often as an outside linebacker lately, and I know he's not a huge fan of that, but he does have experience with it, and the Browns may or may not be interested in bringing a guy like that in to kind of who can kind of play both the first and the second level. One
Miles
last
Garrett